No.
What color was Jesus? I was asked this today outside of the metro stop. I was administering ashes for Ash Wednesday, and this young black guy walks straight up to me and he says, "What color was Jesus?" And I am so glad that I know the right answer, because in my younger years, I would have said something completely different and completely wrong. And I told him, Jesus was black, and his face lit up. And he said, "I never imagined in my wildest dreams that a white priest would admit that Jesus was black." And here's the thing, Jesus was obviously dark-skinned. That's unquestionable. But he was also ontologically black. He was born into an oppressive empire, and his life was threatened from day one. He knew what it was like to be hunted and to have the illusion of freedom. As James Cone said, the cross of Christ was the lynching tree in America. Jesus was lynched by Rome, just like so many black people in America. I'm not sure why Jesus being black is so threatening to some white Christians, but it is. You'll find out in the comments. So if it's threatening to you, maybe this Lent is an opportunity to go inward and find out why your Jesus needs to be white. Because Jesus was absolutely black. And that truth matters because if we're going to have a relationship with him, we need to recognize him first. I love you, all of you. And I'll
Jesus was a poor, Middle Eastern, Palestinian, Jewish peasant who lived in the first century. That means he had darker skin, that he was Middle Eastern, and that he was both Palestinian and Jewish. That is Jesus' identity. We know that Jesus is portrayed as a refugee. Jesus, in the text, is marginalized in pretty much every way. Why do churches not describe Jesus in that way? Racism. Churches in the United States have been very racist places, and that's why that Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. have been described as the most racist hour in America. We want to make Jesus in the United States this white Jesus. And so I have compared this in articles to the white nationalist Jesus versus the historical Jesus. And the white nationalist Jesus, which is continuing to gain momentum right now, you might also call it the MAGA Jesus, is the Jesus who has blonde hair and blue eyes, who cares about everybody being rich, who doesn't want any outsiders in this country, who just wants people to be able to make money and live a comfortable life, compared to the historical Jesus who welcomed absolutely everyone, who was brown, and who said that the last shall be first and the first shall be last. He was talking about a radical social order. And so I think one of the things that churches need to do is do a much better job of talking about who the historical Jesus was, because one thing we can say for sure is that he wasn't white.
Yes, Jesus was a Negro, black. You see it? It's a 1,700-year-old Bible. 1,700-year-old Bible. Christ was a nigger. You see it? Stop playing. 1,700-year-old Bible. Also, did you know that God is black? The Most High God, the creator of the heavens and earth? Did you know that he was black? Oh, you think I'm capping, huh? You think I'm capping? I can get the scriptures. I'm about to pull the scriptures up right now. Now, here's the scriptures to prove it. This is Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld, the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. That's God. Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair on his head was like pure wool. Pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels was as a burning fire. Who on the face of this earth has woolly hair, pure wool hair? Woolly hair. It said God has woolly hair. What's understood ain't got to be explained, man. God is black. Yes, you've been bamboozled once again. Hey, it is what it is.
Oh yeah, guys, you know, for centuries, images of Jesus have shaped how millions of people see faith, how millions of people see history and even race. But what happens when we take a deeper look at this historical and biblical evidence about who Jesus really was? So guys, in this video, we are just here to explore the origins of the widely recognized European depictions of Christ, including famous works like Salvator Mundi by Leonardo da Vinci, and compare them with historical context from the region where Jesus was born, the Middle East. Jesus of Nazareth lived in 1st century Judea under the Roman Empire. Scholars widely agree that as a Jewish man from that region, his physical features would have reflected the people of the Levant, not the later European portrayals popularized during the Renaissance. So guys, let's get into these remaining clips. This discussion is not about division. It's about understanding history, challenging assumptions, and recognizing how representation shapes belief. Watch to the end and share your thoughts respectfully in the comments. I'll be back.
Breaking news. All Africans need to hear this. Vladimir Putin has done it again. You won't believe that Jesus Christ was from Africa. And these Western nations have been brainwashing Africans for the longest time. And let me tell you, Vladimir Putin has come up with real pictures of Jesus Christ back in the 15th centuries. He has introduced those pictures for all Africans to see and realize themselves. And the reason as to why he is banning all the satanic churches that are in Russia. I know most of you will come up with assumptions that Vladimir Putin is trying to actually capture all the minds of Africa to be in love with Vladimir Putin. But remember, before you comment, Russia never colonized any African countries in Africa during that time. And Vladimir Putin is trying to wake up most of the Africans who have been brainwashed with these photos that you usually see, the Westerners, the white people introduced to the Africans, so that they can continue brainwashing you and continue misleading you. And Vladimir Putin has said enough is enough, end of that. You can never brainwash people again. And that is the biggest reason he has gone ahead and banned all those Western satanic churches that have been in Russia. And he has literally said, whoever will be found in those churches worshiping, whether a foreigner, he will be deported immediately. And if he is from Russia, the real soil, he will be imprisoned for several years. What do you think?
What color were the original Hebrews?
I have told you that we don't know that for certain.
Then you can't believe for certain that Jesus was white.
Just a moment. God is white. Isn't it obvious?
Well, that is obvious, but we don't know if it's obvious that God is white. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Jesus did not have blonde hair and blue eyes. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the images of Jesus that are on prison walls and churches throughout the world are not historically correct, because history teaches us that Jesus was born in a region where the people had color. There's proof in the very Bible that you ask us to read in Revelation, 1st chapter, verse 14 and 15, that Jesus had hair like wool and feet the color of brass.
Just what are you saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm proving to you that Jesus was not, and I might quote one of our Indian brothers, he was not a paleface.
The image of Jesus has been burned into the minds of billions. Soft hair, light skin, European features, painted in cathedrals, hanging in churches, printed in Bibles across the Western world. But what if that image is not historically accurate? What if the Jesus most people picture looks very different from the man who actually walked the earth? So guys, we are here talking about history, culture, and the powerful influence of art. Yes, so what is the popular image of Jesus? The popular color is white. When most people think of Jesus, they picture the Renaissance style paintings that dominated Europe. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci helped shape this image through works such as The Last Supper. So these paintings were created in Europe by European artists, the European audiences. And over time, that artistic interpretation became accepted by many as historical reality. But art is not photography. And Renaissance Europe was not first century Judea. Yes. So let's take a look at the historical context. Jesus was born in Bethlehem and raised in Nazareth, towns in the region historically known as Judea, part of the Roman Empire. That region is in the Middle East, and Jesus was a Jewish man living in the 1st century. Historians and biblical scholars widely agree that people from that region during that time would have had darker skin tones, dark hair, and Semitic features common to the Levant. This is not a political statement. It is geography, it's anthropology, it's history. Yes. So why did the image change? How did the European image become dominant? And as Christians spread through Europe, artists began portraying biblical features in ways that reflected their own communities. In Europe, Jesus looked European. In Ethiopia, Jesus was painted with African features. In Asia, artists portrayed him with Asian characteristics. Religious art often mirrors the culture creating it. And over time, European colonial expansion carried Western imagery across the globe, making one version of Jesus more globally recognizable than others. Yes, so there are a lot of reactions, and for some people, learning that Jesus likely had brown or darker skin is surprising. Yes, and for others, it raises deeper questions about representation, about identity, and how history is taught. But here is the key point. Jesus' message was never about skin color. It was about faith, about love, about justice and compassion, and the debate about his appearance reflects how powerful imagery can be and how deeply it can reshape perception. Yes, so when people say Jesus was black, this conversation really matters, guys. When people say Jesus was black, many are pushing back against centuries of Eurocentric imagery. Others argue that labels like black or white are modern racial categories that did not exist in the same way 2,000 years ago. Both perspectives highlight something important. History is often filtered through culture, and sometimes challenging an image feels like challenging tradition itself. Yes, so what does Jesus really look like? The most honest answer may be this, that he looked like a 1st century Jewish man from the Middle East, not the pale Renaissance portraits, not modern political symbols, but a man shaped by the land, people, and history of his time. The bigger question is not just about color, it is about truth, it is about representation, and about understanding how art, power, and history intersect. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments respectfully. And if you found this discussion thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because sometimes looking closer at history changes everything. Thank you for watching. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of the video, and this video is meant for educational purposes and commentary purposes as well. Thank you, be blessed, peace be with you. Until the next one.